In the next half hour on the marketplace, inflation returns to single-digit rate of 8.5% in April this year. We'll hear from the government statistician.
CPI for April 2021 stood at 126.6 relative to 116.6 in April 2020, indicating a 10.0 index difference between April 2020 CPI and April 2021 CPI.
Also, the Ghana International Trade Commission invites GUTA over concerns of illicit dumping of substandard goods into the retail space.
It will be callous for any group to call for the reversal of the 50% reduction of the benchmark value, which has helped in resuscitating businesses in no small measure.
We shall hear more from the GUTA president as he raised alarm over some $5 million revenue Ghana is losing from this particular trend. Also, Ghana ranked 9th in Sub-Saharan Africa with the highest value of energy and utilities infrastructure projects, despite power sector debt estimated at about $5 billion as at the end of this year. Hello once again, my name is Charles Aite. We have all these stories coming up shortly after this break this day. Hello and welcome to our first story. Inflation for the month of April this year remarkably fell to 8.5% from the 10.5% recorded in March. It is the first single-digit rate recorded in the year following the ravaging effects of COVID-19 on the economy. Now, what this means is that it increases in prices of goods and services slowed down comparatively to March this year. However, it is higher than the rate recorded during the same period last year. The government statistician Professor KOBINA announced this new development a while ago.
CPI rate of inflation for the month of April 2021 is as follows. CPI for April 2021 stood at 126.6 relative to 116.6 in April 2020, indicating a 10.0 index difference between April 2020 CPI and April 2021 CPI. Using these relative CPIs for the month of April in 2021 and April in 2020, year-on-year inflation for the month of April 2021 stood at 8.5%. This means that in the month of April 2021, the general price levels were 8.5% higher than April 2020. Putting these figures in context, we'll recall that in the month of March 2020, that is pre-COVID-19 levels, rate of inflation was 7.8%, and at the peak of the COVID-19 in April 2020, when we saw the first jump in inflation rate, inflation stood at 10.6%. On a month-on-month basis, that is between March 2021 and April 2021, inflation stood at 1.5%. This also compares with 0.9 that was recorded in the month of March 2021. On a quarterly basis, for the period January to March 2021, the quarterly inflation rate is 10.2 relative to 10.1 that was recorded in the last quarter of 2020. Indeed, it is important to put this 8.5 inflation rate for the month of April 2021 in a context. This is largely driven by the jump in inflation in the month of March and April 2020, which moved from 7.8% to 10.6%. And given that inflation rate over the last 6 months have hovered around 10.0%, we're currently seeing a dip in inflation rate returning to a single digit of 8.5%, the lowest that have been recorded since the COVID-19 period.
Meanwhile, the Greater Accra region recorded the lowest food inflation rate of 3.3%. Professor ANNIM explains the variations to this statistic.
Greater Accra region continued to dominate non-food inflation with 19.2%, and this distantly varies from the lowest region, which is Upper West, recording a non-food inflation of 2.4%. Indeed, from both a food perspective and a non-food perspective, we see Upper West recording the least inflation figure, 2.4% for non-food inflation and 1.7% for food inflation. Ashanti region has surpassed the highest inflation that we saw for Eastern region for last month and is currently leading with a food inflation of 9.8%, and Greater Accra region saw a marked difference in food inflation, currently recording food inflation of 3.3% for the month of April 2021. These translate into overall inflation of Greater Accra recording an inflation figure of 12.1% and Upper West recording the least inflation figure of 2.0%, suggesting a 10.1 percentage difference between the region with the highest inflation, Greater Accra region, and the region with the least inflation, Upper West region, with 2.0 inflation rate for the month of April 2021.
And do stay with us for more analysis on what these inflation rates could mean to you and your expenditure moving forward. But to other stories, the Ghana International Trade Commission has invited leadership of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, to interrogate the illicit dumping of substandard goods by foreign retailers onto the Ghanaian market. This emergency meeting will also see a review of the framework that guides the benchmark value for imported goods into the country. This is all happening as Ghana loses close to $5 million annually to unfair trade practices. President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obin, has been addressing the media on this development. According to him, this is not enough.
It will be callous for any group to call for the reversal of the 50% reduction of the benchmark value, which has helped in resuscitating businesses in no small measure. Already, due to the above stated factors, prices of goods and services are escalating in the market, and any attempt to reverse the policy will result to unbearable hardship to the general public. We are stating all these undeniable facts because it has come to our notice that Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is seriously lobbying the government to consider the 50% reduction of the benchmark value, which serves as a stabilizer and has brought sanity into the import valuation system in the country. Here, I must say, AGI is not being fair to the importers and the general trading community, because they have all the opportunities. Government has supported industries more than anything else. Industries are paying 0% duty. The worst percentage that they will pay is 2.5% only 2.5%. About 70% of duties that are being paid for the raw materials and other products for industries, in manufacturing industries, have been zero rated. And the highest is 2.5%. And they also benefited from the benchmark reduction. We are being surcharged and we pay a non-refundable VAT of 17.5, now 18.5 at the port. We don't get the refund. Again, importers do not get the refund. Manufacturers, again, are made to get the refund. It's refundable to industries. What else could the government have done for manufacturing entities and against the importers who are being surcharged with only 50% of the reduction of their values, for it to be a problem for manufacturing companies? It's not fair. We recognize the fact that some industries have some problems, but they should not benchmark their problems on the CIF values. They should benchmark their problems on the FOB prices. So if they compare their prices on their fellow competitors globally, then they know that they are not competitive because they cannot compete with them. And mostly, their products are over 30% higher. And so we cannot source mostly from them because Ghanaian citizens demand to be served with cheaper, affordable, and quality products. Above all, we can also only outsource about 10% only of our import requirements from the local manufacturers. So what do we do with the 90%? Because some few companies are producing just a few items that cannot even sustain the market. The government researchers, the good people of Ghana, even in the wake of the pandemic where prices have gone up astronomically, this is not acceptable. We therefore wish to caution that any attempt to reverse this good policy of the government on the benchmark value will not only bring untold hardship, but also cause confusion in the country, especially among members of the private sector, which will not augur well for the unity of members of the Ghanaian business community. We attach hereto copies of our invitation to a consultative meeting with the Ghana International Trade Commission on the matter, as well as the response of GUTA thereon for the perusal of the media. On that note, we wish to appeal to the government to be wary of elements within the private sector or the state who may want to use their status and in society to sabotage innovative policies of the state.
And we shall be interrogating the claims that GUTA has made regarding AGI lobbying for a review on the benchmark prices, as we also have our lid on the matter regarding the GITC inviting GUTA over matters of unfair trade practices. Stay with us for these updates. In the meantime, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, has launched a tech-driven export trade information center set up to provide up-to-date export-related information for the exporter community. Now, the Impact Hub comes into play on the back of the National Export Development Strategy that targets $25 billion of export revenue by 2035. Let's hear from the Trade Minister, Alan Tremantin, explaining the relevance of the Impact Hub to Ghana's industrial development.
The launching of the hub is also significant for another reason, because it's about trade information. I'm sure you are aware that in the past, people spend time, energy, and other resources traveling around the world. We are looking for market. You have to take a plane to another country to go and try and find out where the market is. You should even find it before you get to travel. And so trade information is at the heart of competitiveness if you want to be able to export. And it's not just about providing trade information, it's also providing digitized information that allows for easy storage and retrieval of information. So you can see we haven't gone to inspect the hub, but from the video clip, you can see that this is a new generation trade information center, digitalized. And it's also about timely and accurate information. We are all very pleased about the African Continental Free Trade Area. But if you sit here in Ghana and you do not know what you can export to South Africa or to Angola, how are you going to take advantage of the FCFTA? So providing information about market opportunities in other countries, not only in Africa, globally, is at the heart of what this Impact Hub seeks to provide. And also accurate data. Another reason why I think this launch is timely is the fact that under the leadership of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we've recently launched a network of business resource centers. There are 67 business resource centers dotted in various districts. And these business resource centers, BRCs, are a one-stop business support center to assist micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is a fantastic facility, but if it can only be accessed when you are in Accra, then it means that the rest of the country are marginalized in terms of access to information. And that is why the launch of this Impact Hub on the back of the BRCs can become an instrument for decentralizing trade information access. And so I hope that the collaborating agencies who are already working with the BRCs will decentralize the operations of this Impact Hub through the business resource centers. And I could go on and on and on, but I would like to bring my remarks to a close by congratulating and commending the board and management of GEPA for paving the way and leading our country.
On the launch of the GEPA Impact Hub. Let's now talk matters regarding the power sector, because despite the country's power challenges, Ghana is ranked 9th in sub-Saharan Africa with the highest value of energy and utilities infrastructure project pipeline. Now, that's according to Moody's Analytics Infrastructure Key Projects database, of which Charles Nixon of the Business Desk has more in this report.
The country's energy and utilities infrastructure project pipeline is valued at about $13 billion. It also boasts of the largest renewable project pipeline in sub-Saharan Africa in the name of the Adan Esuchari Tidal Power Plant, followed by Northern Cape Solar Plant in South Africa. The electricity penetration rate presently hovers around 84%, placing it number 1 in West Africa. Despite this, the nation has gone through power fluctuation issues over the years, a challenge which has not seen much improvement. This is partially because the power sector has been saddled with debt, as total debt is estimated to hit about $5 billion by the end of the year. This situation, if not tackled, could make it difficult to replace obsolete power infrastructure with ease. The current power generational capacity is almost 5,000 megawatts, which is adequate to supply electricity to the whole nation. But the distributional and transmission capacity is limited because the equipment are old. The report said Nigeria hosts the highest value of energy and utilities infrastructure project pipeline in the region. It is followed by South Africa and Zimbabwe.
You're still watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we return, we shall be having a discussion on the 5th CEO Summit. Do stay. Hello and welcome back to the program. Well, COVID-19 has really dealt a huge blow to businesses across the world. In Ghana, the situation is no different. We have seen the extent to which businesses have, plummeted from profit making to loss making in the span of just 2 years. To find solutions to this and to spearhead a thought leadership conference on the matters regarding sustainability and resilience, the 5th edition of the Ghana CEO Summit is taking off next week, Monday, on the 17th 15th of May. Helping us understand what we should be expecting is Terry Manche, Media Relations Consultant at the Ghana CEO Summit, and he joins me in studio. Terry, so grateful that he joined us. I mean, these are unusual times, and for us to have the 5th edition of the CEO Summit come on board, it tells a lot to the business community. What should they be expecting?
Well, as you know, we are all coming out of the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
And one of the things that happened during the pandemic period, when it was at its peak in Ghana, was that a lot of, when we couldn't move around and all that, people had to resort to technology to manage and to try to get business going and all that. So if in the midst of a pandemic situation, we had to rely on digital measures, digital interventions to get businesses going. So can you imagine how much progress we can make when we come out of the pandemic and we have a good digital ecosystem? So this year, what we are focusing on is that the theme we are focusing on, we are working with, is digital transformation, powering government and business reset in a post-pandemic resilience, economic resilience. And it's going to be a public-private sector dialogue. And it's going to involve all the major stakeholders in the economy of Ghana. So top CEOs, diplomats, policymakers, everybody who matters in the economy of Ghana will be there, including the President of the Republic.
I get that, and of course it's really going to build momentum already. We've started building momentum ahead of the conference on Monday. But what sector specifics are you going to be looking at for most of these CEOs to tap into the knowledge base of the event?
So we have created a bouquet of interventions. So there are going to be expert presentations, there will be panel discussions. So we are going to be looking at the free continental trade area and how businesses can use technology, can leverage technology to take advantage of the AFCTA. We are going to also focus on the sustainable development goals as well. How through technology, governments and businesses can quicken the pace towards achieving that. And then also, you also know that one of the key issues we have in Ghana and in many African countries is that businesses that are founded in our country are not able to transcend our borders, and that's even why we are looking at the AFTA as well.
Exactly. Most of them can't even exceed 5 years.
Exactly.
Yes.
So beyond that, we want to see how we can also build African multinationals, Ghanaian multinational businesses that start from Ghana and they are able to expand and grow to other territories, starting using the AFTA, taking advantage of the AFTA framework, and then even going beyond Africa. So we are going to bring experts and people who have really done it in their line of business to share their experiences. Most of the sessions, apart from the plenary sessions where the experts speak, we're also going to have people with practical experience who are going to engage in dialogue and panel discussions so they can share all the experiences and insights in ways that people can benefit from.
All right, so the last two questions I have for you. After the CEO Summit, what happens then? Because yes, you're going to be having all these laudable interventions and discussions, but what happens after the summit is over?
So one of the key things we are using the platform of the summit to push for is for Ghana to enact the Digital Economy Act.
Okay.
So we are hoping that, or we are expecting that the president will be there and he will see the need for that. A Digital Economy Act is going to bring together, harmonize all the interventions we have in the digital space. And it's going to help attract investment into the sectors of technology and digitization. And it's going to bring some clarity for us to know exactly where Ghana is going in the area of technology and digitization. But you also know that this is a thought leadership platform. And leaders lead with ideas, with thoughts. The decisions they make, the actions they have to take on a daily basis are all based on what they have in their minds. And this platform brings a certain level of inspiration, a very high level of inspiration, quality ideas that will go a long way to improve the decision-making capacity of policymakers, CEOs who are leading businesses, and then it benefits the wider economy.
Let's not give all the information out yet. But for those of us watching on television and for those of us wondering how can I be a part of this CEO Summit, what information do you have there for them?
So they just have to visit the website. We have a dedicated website for it, GhanaCEOSummit.com. GhanaCEOSummit.com.
All right.
And then they can register there and we'll take it from there.
Chairman, we're so grateful that you joined us.
Thank you very
He
much,
is the
Charles.
Head of Public Relations related to the 5th Ghana CEO Summit, helping us understand what you should be expecting from the 17th to 18th of May this year. At this moment, let's now bring you tidbits on how to spend your money wisely in today's edition of Money Lab. Terry, thank you. We'll meet.
On today's edition of Money Lab, we continue our discussion on collective investment schemes. For today, we will be discussing balance funds. Just like their names, balance funds invest some portion in fixed income securities and the other portion in shares or equities. The whole idea is that if the fixed income side is not yielding much, we expect the equity side to make up for the returns because fixed income markets and the equity market are inversely related. This will help investors to diversify their portfolios. It also helps them to reduce their risk and maximize returns.
My name is Charles Ayete. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business, where we bring you all the stories from Ghana and around the world regarding the world of business. Many thanks once again. Enjoy the rest of our programs.